Tonight at 10 o'clock, fandom or fanatical? That's a question posed as a response to the latest crowd phenomenon that's gripping the UK. I am Jane Church and this is BBC News. This latest of trends is based on the Harry Potter series of books and involves masses of people taking to the streets in dark cloaks. The individuals among these gatherings have identified themselves as Death Eaters. While they have been involved in no crimes or even any disruption to daily life in the cities, their presence has been noted by residents as disturbing. We go live to our correspondent, Jason Coppersmith.
Good evening, Jane. I'm here in Piccadilly Circus, standing just a few dozen meters from a crowd of the so-called Death Eaters. These individuals have been amassing in city squares all across the country to distribute propaganda material based on the Harry Potter series of books. The content of these pamphlets and posters appears to correspond to the beliefs of the Death Eaters found in the books. Though none of these groups have been involved in any illegal acts, the tone of their speeches and reading materials is unmistakably malevolent. In addition to these concerns in attitude, members of the communities in which these groups are forming have never seen the individuals before. It would appear as though these groups are migrating into towns and cities to join these demonstrations.
Well, that certainly is cause for taking precautions while taking a walk through your town. Thank you, Jason.
Doctor! Doctor?
Special weather statement for the following area: continental United States until December 31, 2017, at midnight. Severe thunderstorms have been spotted at all populated areas across the United States. At 3:45 a.m. weather radar and satellite observations have confirmed the existence of a single continent-spanning cloud across the North American and South American landmass. This thunderstorm is known to be similar in nature to most other storms of this type except in terms of size. This storm is capable of producing excessive rainfall as well as quarter-sized hail. Strong winds are expected with speeds in excess of 50 miles per hour. It is unknown how such a storm has formed. Because of excessive rainfall, flooding may occur. If you must drive during the storm, do not drive through flooded roads. Turn around, don't drown.
You read me, Hal? Affirmative, Dave. I read you.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
The following message is transmitted at the request of the Department of Homeland Security. A group of cloaked individuals resembling Death Eaters from the Harry Potter book series and numbering in the thousands has begun attacking civilians in the United Kingdom. While no such individuals have yet been spotted in the United States, citizens should be on the lookout for individuals dressed in dark cloaks, carrying magic wand-shaped objects, and calling themselves Death Eaters. These individuals have been observed attacking the population with glowing projectiles emanating from their wand-shaped objects. It is not known what these projectiles are, however it is unlikely that these individuals possess magical abilities. If you see one of these individuals, do not approach them. Instead, put as much distance between you and the Death Eater and call 911. There is no immediate danger, however travel plans should be rushed to completion. If you have armed protection, prepare to use it if attacked. This message will retransmit in 1 minute. The following message is transmitted at the request of the civil authorities. Shelter in place. The group calling itself the Death Eaters has been spotted in more than 25 cities in the United States and have been confirmed to possess magical powers. It is assumed that there are members of this group spread throughout the entire United States. This is a very dangerous situation. All citizens are advised to close and lock all doors, shut off lighting and ventilation, and seek a room in your home with no windows to the outside. If you are separated from someone, do not seek them out. There is an emergency plan where they are. If you are within 5 minutes of your destination, complete your journey. If you are more than 5 minutes away, pull over to the nearest structure and take shelter there. Remember to not let anyone into your shelter and do not attract attention from the Death Eaters. If a Death Eater enters your shelter, deadly force is authorized to incapacitate them. Deadly force is only authorized against members of the Death Eaters. If you use deadly force against another citizen, you will be arrested and prosecuted. Experts from the Department of Homeland Security have speculated that their leader will have the appearance of Lord Voldemort from the Harry Potter book series. His description is as follows: a long dark cloak, pale skin, skeletal fingers and head including a lack of nose, and red sunken eyes. If you see this individual, call 911 and avoid being seen by him. Civil danger warning. The following message is transmitted at the request of the Department of Defense. Death Eaters along with Lord Voldemort have begun attacking the United States. Anyone within a 50-mile radius of a major city is in extreme danger. Do not approach any Death Eaters or they may attack on sight, leading to certain death. The shelter in place will remain in effect until these attackers have been contained. The National Guard in conjunction with local law enforcement have begun to take measures to contain the Death Eaters. These measures include the deployment of tanks and aircraft to ensure the removal of the Death Eater threat. The President has authorized the deployment of other branches of the military to deal with this threat. If you are in the military, you are to report it as you can do so safely. During the containment procedure, there is a possibility of your shelter being hit by stray projectiles. Remain deep in your shelter to minimize the possibility of being caught in the crossfire. This message will retransmit in 1 minute. We interrupt our programming. This is a national emergency. Important details will follow. This is an emergency action notification. All broadcast stations and cable systems shall transmit this emergency action notification message. This station has interrupted its regular programming at the request of the White House to participate in the emergency alert system. During this emergency, most stations will remain on the air providing news and information to the public in assigned areas. This is WMBC. We will continue to serve the New York metropolitan area. If you are not in this local area, you should tune to stations providing news and information for your local area. You are listening to the emergency alert system serving the New York metropolitan area. Do not use your telephone. The telephone lines should be kept open for emergency use. This is the emergency alert system. Stand by for a message from the President.
My fellow Americans, I wish I could have better news to bring to you, but the might of the United States military could not defeat the invaders of our home soil. As your president, it is my duty to be forthright and honest with you, and so I will not lie to you. This is without a doubt the darkest day in American history. A group that was thought to reside safely within the confines of fiction has terrorized our world. The darkness is real, However, the American spirit will shine brighter than any cloud can block, and defeat death itself by accepting it so that others may live on. I will now be calling on the residents of the cities most affected by these invaders to offer the most any citizen can offer to their country so that liberty may never die. It is my sad duty to authorize the launch of 20 nuclear missiles to obliterate the Death Eater threat. God bless the United States, and may God save us all.
That was a message from the President. Owing to the defeat tearing off the United States military in 20 of the 25 cities initially affected, the President has ordered the use of 20 nuclear missiles as a contingency measure to end the confrontation in these cities. Fallout is a product of nuclear explosions. Overexposure to fallout can result in certain death. If you live within 100 miles of any city with a population over 500,000, you must enter a fallout shelter. If you cannot find a fallout shelter, the National Guard will lead you to one. As a last resort, use everyday household objects to put as much space between you and the outside world as possible. Gather food, water, and a battery-powered radio for your stay in the shelter. Do not exit your shelter for 14 days after the explosion. After 14 days, the radiation levels will go down to a safe level for travel. The missiles will be launched in 15 minutes with impact occurring approximately 7 minutes later. You are listening to the emergency alert system. The following message is transmitted at the request of the United States government. The 20 nuclear missiles have been launched from their respective silos and will target the following cities: New York City, Los Angeles, Chicago, Houston, Phoenix, Philadelphia, San Antonio, San Diego, Dallas, San Jose, Austin, San Francisco, Indianapolis, Fort Worth, Charlotte, Seattle, Denver, Washington, D.C., Boston, and Detroit. It is now too late to seek a fallout shelter. Use everyday household objects to put as much space between you and the outside world as possible. Gather food, water, and a battery-powered radio for your stay in the shelter. Do not exit your shelter for 14 days after the explosion. The missiles will impact in approximately 6 minutes. You are listening to the emergency alert system. Administrative message: all clear. The nuclear attack was successful in destroying 90% of Death Eater forces. However, the remaining that escaped teleported into a trap set by the military and were killed. The body of Lord Voldemort was found 87 miles out of New York with wounds consistent with a long-range shot made by a sniper. At this point, all nuclear fallout is at safe levels for traveling, and it is safe to exit your shelter. There is still mass devastation to all American cities, and utilities may be out for some time. Your government thanks you for your cooperation during this emergency.